Hello, this is Palico Patch and welcome to another episode of the Curious Expedition Arctic Expanse DLC. And we have just finished a full playthrough with the new explorer, the Arctic Explorer, Raoul Adbenson. And we did alright. We played on normal, we got through all 6 expeditions. We experienced quite a few new things, but I am sure there is lots more to discover as of yet. And also, it would appear that on that second or third episode, when we first went to the Arctic with him, going into that cave and finding that strange cursey type place is like a chance of 1 in a million, which is great. And we didn't explore it because we didn't know any better at that point. None the wiser, some might say. Some would still argue that that's still the case, but there we go, never mind. So I figured let's play through once more on normal and then we'll crack it up. We'll crank it up to good old hard mode and really start murdering some of these explorers. I'm thinking, and I did mention this at the end of the last episode, if you managed to get to the end of the last episode, I'm thinking of doing personalities. Famous people who have been created by the developers for whatever reason. I haven't created one of me. I've done them a bloody song. I've done a fantastic, well, I've done a parody. We won't say it's fantastic. I've done a parody. I put a video together. I sang for the first time. I bared my soul on microphone, and I don't get it my own person. But even so, with not sticking to that too much because we don't really want to rub too much salt into that wound. I am open to suggesting to playing with other people who have been created in the Curious Expedition just to do something different. So, for example, PewDiePie. Put his pin code down in the comment section and I'll look at playing him. I'm not going to say I am, but I'll look at playing him. And that goes for anyone else or of any other pin codes you know. Just give me their name, tell me a little bit about them. If I find them interesting enough, I may play through with them. But that's for another episode. This time around, we're playing a new game. And we're cracking on with Charles Darwin. The reason being, we've played with every character now. Some of them twice. And they've all had a formal introduction. We've gone into their past. We've had a bit of a look-see, see what they're all about, see the reason why they've been brought into this game, and why they are classed as a distinguished explorer, and hence why they're being represented here. But because Charles Darwin was the first video I ever did, and I was more concentrating on getting that how-to video out, showing exactly what was going on back in that beta, or alpha should I say back then, and just making it easy for people to know what's going on, because at the time, and some might still argue, that it is quite a difficult game to follow unless you've had intimate knowledge of it before or you've played it a couple of rounds yourself. It's very difficult to follow what's going on the screen because there's lots of stuff to be concentrating on. So we completely ignored Charles Darwin as a character. We just played him because he was the first explorer. So I figure it's a good thing for us to come back to him now, have a quick look at his past, and give him a decent shot at getting a golden frame. I'm thinking about getting golden frames for everyone. I'm not going to be bringing them to the channel, but I think it'd be nice to have everyone in golden frames at some point. So I may work on that in between playing on screen for you guys. But anyway, Charles Darwin, English naturalist and geologist, best known for his contributions towards evolutionary theory. But who is good old Charlie Darwin? Well, Charles Robert, very important that, Charles Robert Darwin, and get this, FRS, FRGS, FLS, FZS, those are all words. They're not the letters. They're all letters after his name, much like doctor or what have you. That's how important he was. He wasn't a double barrel. He wasn't even a triple barrel. He was a quadruple barrel fellow of different places. So let's break this down. Charles Robert Darwin, FRS, that's the fellow of the Royal Society. Then we've got the FRGS, that's a fellow of the Royal Geographical Society. Then we have FLS, which is a fellow of the Linnean Society of London. And then we have FZS, the fellow of the Zoological Society of London. Don't ask me what they all do. I don't know that much. I didn't look that much into it. But I did notice on the old wiki page they're all highlighted. So if you're that interested, give them a click. Educate yourselves. Good times. He was an English naturalist, as we know, geologist and biologist, best known for his contributions to the science of evolution and for his published book in 1859 called On the Origin of Species. to a lesser extent, and one which I fondly know him from, before any of this, back when I was a youngster. He is the namesake of the Darwin Awards, which is issued to certain human beings every year for dying very stupidly, and therefore not being able to reproduce, and therefore not stunting the growth of the human species. But we're talking really stupid ways of dying. Again, look it up. It's probably a lot more interesting than looking up the FRS, FRGS, FLS and FZS, if truth be told. But, you know, whatever floats your boat. I'm not here to judge. So, he was born on the 12th of February in 1809 in Shrewsbury, that's Shropshire in England, which is very close to where I live. And he was the 5th born out of 6 children. And he went to the University of Edinburgh Medical School in Scotland to follow in his father's footsteps, along with his brother at the time. They went roughly about the same time, although his brother was older. But after finding the lectures boring and the surgery, now this is Wiki's description, distressing. So watching surgery, he finds it distressing. He starts to neglect his studies, which is fair enough. If you don't have the passion for it, you're not likely to want to go and do it. But get this, instead of learning that and doing what he was going to the university in order to do, he decides to learn taxidermy from a freed black slave. Taxidermy. Now, again, I'm not one to judge, but one would presume if you are going to choose a pastime which isn't going to be as grisly as watching open surgery, it wouldn't be flailing the skin off a dead animal and then putting it over a mount of some sort. You know, and again, I'm not, as I said, I'm not one to judge, but one would presume that is probably a little bit more icky than watching surgery. But hey ho, you know, this is Victorian times. I'm sure it was a whole different ballgame back then. So, after that, Darwin's neglect of medical studies annoyed his father, who shrewdly, again, wiki word there, shrewdly sent him to Christ's College, Cambridge, to study for a Bachelor of Arts degree as the first step towards becoming an Anglican county parson. Now, what is a parson? Parson is basically it's like a priest, but it's not an ordained priest through the Church of England or the Catholic Church. It's an independent priest as such. So not necessarily Christian, I guess, if it's an independent priest. And that's why it's referred to as a parson rather than a priest. But again, we're getting into diuretics there, which I don't really know too much enough to be able to comment on properly. So we'll leave that there. He was studying to be a parson of some sort. But again, he preferred riding, shooting, and later on beetle collecting, because he's a bit of a rocker, is our Charlie, to actually doing the study. Even so, he came 10th out of 178 candidates for the parson ordinary degree, which is the least degree you could get studying as a parson before going on to higher learnings, as it were. And on the 27th of December 1831, he embarked on the second voyage of the HMS Beagle. Now, this is the HMS Beagle's second voyage, not Charles Darwin's. It was his first. And it was tasked with mapping out the southern coastline of South America. Originally set out as a 2-year exhibition, the actual time out at sea was closer to 5 years after heading further west to the southern coastline of Australia and Africa before heading back northwards to England. And when the Beagle reached Falmouth in Cornwall on the 2nd of October 1836, Darwin was already a celebrity in scientific circles due to an old tutor giving copies of his letters to selected scientists in London, which led to his funding of £1,000, which is stupid money these days, but I think it's like the equivalent of like £16,000, to continue writing his essays from his journey and findings, and which leads to his most well-known book on the origin of species. That's quite a lot of info. I'll let you just soak that in for a second. I probably didn't break up this info as best as I could to just read out at you. It's like, here you are, information, facts, take the facts. So there. There we go. We're there now. That's good. Right, we're there. You've caught up. It was at this point in his life that a stomach ailment developed. I'll say that again. A stomach ailment developed. You can tell it's been a while. I'm just going to let you into a little secret. I'm recording on, like the 21st of March. So it's a couple of days from when you guys are going to see this. I've just come back from my long birthday weekend. It was my birthday on Friday, so I've had Friday and Monday off work. A long weekend of just eating and drinking and generally being merry. My brain's not quite here, so you'll just have to be patient with me. That's why we're jibber-jabbering right now. We're trying to delay the inevitable messing up. So please, be patient, be patient. So anyway, where do we get to? Original speeches, yeah. So yeah, he discovered this stomach ailment, and although it was something which he suffered from for the rest of his life, it was never truly diagnosed by a doctor or a physician of any sort. But it would stir up whenever Darwin found himself under the stress of work or having to deal with undue social pressure. So going to talk to people, giving speeches, stuff like that. In 1837, Darwin suffered from an uncomfortable palpitation of the heart, so his doctors urged him to knock off all work and live in the country for a few weeks. For the rest of his life, he was repeatedly incapacitated with episodes of stomach pains, vomiting, severe boils, palpitations, trembling and other symptoms, particularly during times of stress such as attending meetings or making social visits, which is basically what I've just said in a roundabout kind of way anyway. In 1882 he was diagnosed with what was called angina pectoris, which then meant coronary thrombosis and disease of the heart. So basically heart disease. From too good a living maybe, because he was classed as a gentleman, he was part of the gentle folk, you know. And at the time of his death, the physicians diagnosed anginal attacks and heart failure. He had expected to be buried at St Mary's Churchyard at Down, but at the request of Darwin's colleagues, after public and parliamentary petitioning, it was arranged for Darwin to be honoured by burial in Westminster Abbey, close to John Herschel and Sir Isaac Newton. So really cemented as one of the greats of the scientific community, to be able to be buried in Westminster Abbey anyway, which is obviously a major thing. And he was 73 years old. So, after that very long introduction to Charles Darwin, we know all about him now. And that is all of the major explorers on here done and dusted. We are done. I feel better now. I feel like a weight has been lifted off me because we have covered good old Charlie Darwin. Now, what are we taking with us? We are taking with us a Scottish soldier, a Persian translator, good old donkey, my trusty donkey, whiskey, torches, a shotgun for good measure, and some machetes. Let's crack on. Welcome back to the Explorers Club, old friend. Have you heard that we are building a statue to honour our most famous member? Word has it that you have a good chance of seeing your likeness on that statue. However, I am afraid to tell you that you are not the only candidate. You and your rivals have 6 expeditions to prove who is the most famous explorer within our club. And we're against Raoul Amundsen, Marcus Garvey, Isabella Bird, and Richard F. Burton. Now go explore. Adventure awaits. And once again, we're going to be playing it on normal, just so we can try and explore as much as possible as far as new things are concerned. And the next time round, it's on to the certain deaths. Yes, yes. And we get to choose from 2. We have the Valley of the Drylands, or we have Dead End Jungle. Well, Dead End Jungle does sound cooler, so we'll do that. Let's crack on. After rising at the break of dawn, I hurried to the harbour. There were still some arrangements to be made, so I imagined what my visage would look like on the society statue. Someone walked up to me and pleaded for my help. He desired a message to be delivered to the chief of a village located in the region we were headed to. What's your name? Hormusuji Naroji. Sounds legit. We'll accept. He handed us a sealed envelope, which I promised to deliver. Oh, and we're off. That's it. No dilly-dallying here. We're just straight into it. There's nothing else for you here. And we are on a vertical 2 region map rather than the good old traditional horizontal. I had heard enough sea shanties to fashion my own opera several times over, so I was relieved when we arrived at our expedition area. I knew this place held something special for us. It will get worse from now on. Oh my, Kenneth McLaughlin. Have you been on a expedition with me before, by chance? To say something like that? What about you, Malasha? Malasha. And we have Mr. Catley. Right. Well, let's crack on. No reason to be hanging around here. Perhaps we should endeavour to deliver the letter first. Luckily, the man had indicated the location of the village on our map. Oh, and it's there. It's there, you know. So we've got a few places we can hit on the way. 22, 14. 13. Might as well stay south of it. What's up first? It is a shaman. And it turns out Kenneth, dear old Kenneth, is a racist. He's a horrible, horrible racist. so maybe we could cure him of his ailment pretty cheaply. We entered an odd-looking hut. The place smelled of old dank wood, with all manner of dried herbs and other peculiar things hanging from the walls. A native shaman approached us with an absent stare as he chewed on some leaves. What's your name, shaman? Yevernat. Yevernat. Let's go for trading first and see what he has. Rather skittishly, the shaman got out a box and presented his wares. Yes, we have a green mushroom. That could be useful. And mountain creation, abomination, fire and chasm. Oh my. Abomination? It just complicates things when you start turning people into abominations. Let's just stick with this one mushroom. It doesn't cost a lot. We could probably get away with 4 machetes. 5 machetes. Okay, I dig it. After some negotiating, we made a deal with the shaman. And I'm good. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And that is to be used on Kenneth. Kevin McLaughlin ate the mushroom with a wayward grin. He proceeded to slap his own face rather sternly. Afterwards, he felt rejuvenated. Well, you see, that's what happens when you've got to unracialize yourself. You tend to slap yourself a lot. Right, so let us go to the village next, I think. Makes me wonder if we're missing anything here. It's quite a large section to be skirting over. I'm guessing not. It's not showing any extra question marks. Now we've discovered the village and the cave. So I think we're good. We entered a native village. The villagers were apparently some form of religious unity. The air was filled with a delicious scent. The villagers kindly beckoned us over and offered us some of their freshly cooked food. What do we want here? Well, we want cooked animal meat to start off with. You're exhausting, Kenneth, you unracist Scottish person. The natives observed us with intrigue. They were kind and offered us what they could. Upon our arrival, Malashah began to converse with the natives. We brought the letter to the village chief. To reward us, the chief regaled us with stories of the greatest wonders to set eyes on in the vicinity, including a holy shrine, which he marked on our map. We felt more than welcome, and the villagers were seemingly excited about our presence. Well, we don't need to rest. I think we're okay for that. We could recruit. Is anyone willing to come to us for free? I sat down and spoke with the natives to find out if some locals were interested enough to join the trek. Soon enough, I had assembled some volunteers and had to decide on a new recruit. So we've got Quadulabjoya, I think that is, the native shaman, who is suspicious. Yeah, superstitious even. A donkey. We have Vegezawi, the animal handler, who's clear, which is good. Or we changed our mind. Right, what does our donkey hold? 3. We have blue and green dice there. We've got blue dice there. We've got red dice there. Arguably, a red dice would be nice. What do you do? Good reputation. And you get Santi from eating mushrooms. We're about to go to a cave. Let's take the shaman. Quaddy, the shaman, joined our trek. We felt comfortable in the midst of the overjoyed villagers. What the bloody hell is Quaddup Joya? Yeah, that'll do. Trade. Alright, so they have jewels. Oh, they've got gold. We've got to go for the gold first. We need the sanity. Meat. How much? No, not a lot. How about 2 torches? And... oh. Do you have a torch back? You have a machete? Ooh. Meat pack? Close enough. Right. I told them to pack up and departed as new adventures awaited us. Oh. That's quite far away. Okay, so. Let's head around to the cave and hope it's going to have some mushrooms in. First, though, let's eat the meat. And crack on. Tip top. We located a cave. The entrance led into darkness of unknown depths. We needed a torch to move inside. Aha, see? Good times. We lit a torch and descended into the darkness. We arrived at a remarkable underground body of water. The water was clear as day, sustaining the growth of vegetation, primarily many colourful mushrooms. If we were to invest a little time, we would surely be able to collect a few samples. Well, let's do that. It took a little while, but we managed to pick a few mushrooms. Ah, health and Luxies. The old Luxie mushroom. Right, so let's carry on going south, I guess. We could really do with getting up on top of a hill. We'll make sure we're into the region, at the very least. Hit me. I've got a feeling this is going to be a spring. So let's drink a whiskey and get on top of this hill. Yep, played this game way too much. Our trek seized at natural hot water springs. The water had a strong colouring. Its healing capabilities were more than obvious. We settled down and I told the people to rest. Not a sound was heard tonight as we sat by the campfire. Our people were losing faith, and the discussion between Kenneth McLaughlin and Quaddy escalated into a raucous argument. A moment later, the pair were exchanging blows and trying to strangle each other with grave intentions. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, you're likely to leave anyway, aren't you? Your loyalty's pretty high, though. Let's arrest Quaddy because he's the least likely to stick around at the end. And we get it as well. He's going to be upset. Yeah. We tackled Quaddy and separated the two. The pair simmered down, but there lingered an unresolved conflict between the two of them. Kenneth, I thought you were not racist anymore. Days went by pleasantly. Delicate steam laced the water as we prepared to leave. Bathing in the hot springs had astoundingly healed our wounds. Well, we didn't have any, but never mind. A man who wastes 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. I feel a tad better, thank you. We're going to rest again. We decided it would be a good idea to stay here and allowed everyone to rest. This was a good place, and I was sure we would get some well-deserved rest here. This night we could hear the sound of drums from somewhere in the jungle. So that should take us pretty much up to tip-top condition. There we go. Alright, so let us leave. Let us leave. We're going to hit this because we don't know what it is. Ooh. Got a ship. Today we made a peculiar discovery. My voice is so cracked up from the weekend. The remains of a decayed boat loomed in front of us. As far as I could tell, it must have been some kind of pirate ship. The rotten planks looked like they could collapse at any moment. I attempted to decipher the name. HMS Terror. Didn't we come across a HMS Terror in the Arctic the other time? I think it was. I spotted animal tracks. I had to keep moving or end as someone's dinner. This place surely retains some trinkets of worth. We spread out and searched the area. Nice. That's pretty good all in all. We'll take all of that. As we left, we became aware that our presence had attracted ferocious wildlife. Ferocious wildlife. It's only hyenas. Love of God. Oh. Right, so let's go northwards. We're hopefully going to lose the hyena. Yes. We didn't pick up the butterfly, but that's fine. Well, maybe not. We could have got a bit of sanity back off that. It would appear the pyramid's going to be in the bottom right-hand corner of this tile. So, for the sake of having a good run away from whatever nasty things that will eventually pop out of this pyramid, let's do that. The temple before us warranted both fear and respect. Its stone walls were covered with ornate engravings. A circle of dried up blood had been drawn around the whole structure as a warning for anybody that dared to enter. The structure showed some big cracks, but it seemed secure enough to explore. We arrived at what seemed to be the treasure chamber. If this place held any riches, I knew we would find them here. We found a stone altar that was covered in ancient writings. Oh! Lots of gold. Can we drop anything? We will have to drop something. This was not a day for hesitation. That was exactly what we came for. The moment we obtained the treasure, the earth began to rumble. We hurried outside as the shrine collapsed and huge mountains erupted from the ground. Raw. Yeah, I think we're okay still. We got dynamite, worst case scenario. But I think we're okay. Let's drink. No, we get a bit of something when we eat mushrooms, don't we? Let's drink one. Get us onto the top of this hill. Away from the malaria, hopefully. Yeah. And no real need to, eat any mushrooms or use up any more sanity because we're here. We did it. Boom. Attack hyenas. No, let's explore. The exotic landscape complemented the extraordinary golden pyramid. Resourcefulness begets success. I am not apt to follow blindly the lead of other men. Yes, that's why he jumped onto a boat for supposedly 2 years and ended up being 5 because he was completely in control of that boat. And that's why he got back early. After weeks of travelling, extraordinary pride overcame me. I knew that this name, Charles Darwin, would be respected within the community of intrepid adventurers. I congratulated Quaddy, but instead of joy I saw regret. He would not follow me to the civilized world. Well, I would argue against that. Come on, Quaddy. We have candy floss. All my stories about the advances of the civilized world had an effect on Quaddy, and he agreed to come back with me. To history! And there we go. Suck and cess. New world bonus. Where do we finish? First. Excellent. So we couldn't have got any more fame out of this even if we tried, which is great. For the Empire! Time to celebrate with a drink. So we can have a careerist, which promoting characters improves their loyalty towards you. We can have protector, receiving additional defense die, or we can have waterproof, reduce movement costs in shallow rivers. We haven't fought anything yet. I think we're doing okay for defense die overall. I think it'd probably be best if we just went for waterproof. Yeah, because you see, it's only a chance that it improves their loyalty. So yeah, we'll go with waterproof. Huzzah! And Raold is right ahead. Ms. Bird is doing pretty cool. We're keeping up with the best of them though. So we're on what, 360? So we're 18 behind Raold Abramson. Only a little bit of gold, not a lot of cash. So that's worth 50, that's worth 50, that's worth 70. So let's sell both of those and gift that, just to put us ahead. So we are about 50 odd ahead, which is a nice gap for the first expedition. Although I don't feel as confident in this position as I did when we played with Raold on the last one. So there we go, that's expedition 1 done with a definitive. Well, I say definitive. It's not really definitive. With a light dusting down of what Charles Darwin was all about. So we all know where we stand with him now. We know he is the bearded one who came up. Well, he didn't come up with the awards for dying stupidly, but he's by God named after them. So that is good enough for me. Enough jibber jabbering. I'm going to go put my teeth in and possibly sober up a little too, because this has been a bit of a jibber jabber episode, but I'm doing it again. I'll just stop. Thank you for watching. As always, a like is appreciated, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.